AI obviously is something that's important. People need to understand it. I don't care where you're at in your business. You need to have a knowledge of it and how it's going to impact our lives going forward. Welcome to another episode of the Tactical Empire. Sean, what is up, man?
Hello. You and I just saw each other. We 2 weeks ago. I've traveled twice in 2 weeks, so I had to rack my brain. That was the first travel. That was 2 weeks ago. We haven't jumped on a podcast together in a while, just crazy schedules. But here we go. Time to chat together again. I think we're gonna break down how that meetup went. But where are you? How are you?
We're in Houston, and I am great. I'm finally back to some mid 90-degree weather, which we love. Had to wait till October for it, but all good. I'll take it where I can get it. So yeah, everything's good.
We're in that I wouldn't call it fake fall, but that delayed fall summer where you'll wake up, it'll be 45 degrees in the morning, and then it'll be 80 in the afternoon. So, your
Right on.
throat doesn't know what season it is, so you get the little phlegm going, then you get the cough. But I think I'm past that few days of up and down. But I'll tell you what, man. I voiced it on the last podcast I recorded solo, but I've told you like traveling is, I don't know how people do it more regularly because my HRV, when I look at my data, my HRV from leaving 2.5 days per week for 2 weeks. I mean, unbalanced, low when I'm always within a normal range. So I don't know how people do that. I mean, you travel full time, so but you should probably be maybe a little used to staying at the RV. What happens with your body when you're gone?
Man, I stopped traveling when I started traveling full time. Really, I mean, when you look at the cadence I used to travel with 2 years ago, for that previous like 5 years, I was out of town 1 to 2 weeks every single month, and so I'm in a fucking fantastic place. I feel like I'm never traveling now, and part of that has been like lifestyle design, and then part of it is like just shedding things that I didn't want to be participating in anymore.
Mm.
I'm and some of that, I mean, admittedly was work related, but some of it was also like personal development related and masterminds and things like that. Um, so we kind of took a pause from that stuff for a minute. I'm actually ready to jump back into that a little more strategically, and then we have our meetups for the Tactical Empire, which are, I guess you could call them work related, but they are just, I look forward to them every 6 months. They're awesome. So I don't think I have such a problem. It just depends on how late I stay out and stuff like that. And with the guys in the Tactical Empire, they
Yeah,
can, some of them want to stay out late. I don't want to run around, but we
yeah,
had
yeah,
one
yeah.
late night
Note to self.
conversation.
I will tell the hotel to not put my room next to a conference room that our guys have access to. For the people listening, the one night these guys, I still go to bed fairly early when I go to these meetups, but I was in bed at 10 o'clock Central Time, which is still 2 hours later than Eastern Time. But my Eastern Time of the guys were having fun debates late at night for like at least an hour and a half, 2 hours. But with all that being said, Jeff, what were your takeaways when someone says, "Hey, how did the meetup go?" What have you been telling them?
Well, I think it went great. I mean, it did we what we do. I mean, why we get together in the first place is camaraderie and deeper connection, and also to solidify relationships, build trust, and like, I mean, this is your circle of people in most cases. I mean, the guy, and you heard people say it that have been the group multi-year members have said that like this is their circle of peers and friends. And I mean, all of us are really busy. All of us have families, all of us have things going on, businesses. Most of us have businesses we're running. And when you're in your area of operation or homestead, you're busy and you're focused on the areas that we're trying to grow. And it, I think for most of the guys, outside of a handful of guys that I could think of, most of us don't do a very good job of, I guess, spending time on relationships outside of our immediate family. And so to be able to galvanize these relationships where everyone kind of understands uh, what busy looks like, and it's not held to, like, in a state of contempt, like you didn't text me back, bullshit like that, that normal people have time to worry about. These relationships just kind of galvanize themselves organically over time because we're all dealing with the same things, and so it kind of breaks down barriers. I mean, my wife would tell the story that, like, that happens in RV life. Like, you become fast friends with people because, like, there's just a level of similarities when, like, of people that would take on a lifestyle like this. And so I would say that the Tactical Empire is like that from an extent. Like, let's say there's 10 qualifiers of men that are in the group, right? You step into that room and at least five of them are the same with you. And so, like, you can get through kind of the small talk of things, and kind of it just enhances the relationships very quickly because everybody is kind of trying to do the same things. We're legacy driven. We're we're motivated to expand our horizons and grow ourselves personally into the best versions of ourselves and make as much money as we can while we're doing it, while being present with the people that we care about. And so, like, that alone lets you know that you're, like, talking to a person that is like-minded. And so, off on a tangent there with the relationships, but the relationships are very important, and so it's nice to get together a few times a year and see these people in person.
Yeah, and that's for the people that are listening that haven't gone to meetups. It might be tough for them to relate to that because we had a guy that's been in the group for a few months, hasn't gone to a meetup before because I think he's only been in 3 4 months. Came to the meetup, brand new guy to the group, right? First time meeting these guys, and his takeaway was it was a compliment, but it was like okay, and what he said was I now see the value of the group because of the meetup, and he obviously meant that as a compliment, but it was like we meet every week on Zoom. We have different topics, we have our coursework and stuff, but actually getting in person with the guys does set it to a new level. So I think those relationships and the connections and the networking, I think coming out of the meetups, the guys, I mean, it's funny to see who's ping ponging conversations back and forth. And hey, I got on a quick Zoom with Riley to go over my offer in my business, or I got a quick call with Justin to talk about how he scaled his property management company so quickly. Oh, you guys talked about this new guy that's in mobile home parks, and like, can I get connected with him? So I think that's obviously the most important factor when it comes to getting together and having the meetups. What was, I think it's interesting because the guys that have come to numerous meetups make the comment that this was the best one from a presenter standpoint. And so that was really good feedback. I think the topics were relevant and not repeated topics, not cookie cutter topics that we have seen in other groups before. And then the new guys, right? They're like, "Oh, this was awesome," and it's like, "Okay, well, we see where we're going to get better." So, what was your takeaway with the topics that we presented to the guys? Leading with you, you opened, I followed. Then we had Riley talk about offers and avatars. Then we had Mike Fallett talk about AI. So, quite the width of topics this time around.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy with the topics for sure. I think that we're going to hit power, presence, and profits at each of the meetups. Hopefully, it just makes sense. So, I mean, I spoke to those three things specifically in leadership. That's probably going to be where I spend my time because I want to bring in experts in the other areas generally, and and I think if we hit all those, the breadth of knowledge it gives you something to take away and think about no matter what point you're at within your business, within anything. I mean, AI obviously is something that's important. People need to understand it. I don't care where you're at in your business. You need to have a knowledge of it, and how it's going to impact our lives going forward. And so, and you saw that, how powerful that was coming out of the meetups, because we had some of the guys that were on the fence, and their takeaways were exactly that. Well, fuck, I've got to learn AI, or it's time to get off my ass and stop trying to deny that it's coming. And so, like, those guys are now going to be ahead of the curve, whereas before, if we would have just like not hit a topic like that, or emphasized it, or brought someone in from the East Coast all the way to Little Rock just to tell them the importance of it and like what is going to happen. And I mean, there's no certainty there, but there is test cases of what's already happening. And so I think that's incredibly powerful. It kind of broke down some barriers too, that made it maybe not so intimidating for those guys, which is nice. So I think that we're going to continue to bring in guys like that. Sammy came in and closed it out with the way he does, and so that was great. Um, Kind of spoke to every aspect of power, presence, and profits, actually. So he tied it up with a bow at the end, and yeah, I think we'll continue to get experts in there. That I mean, Riley did a tremendous job on building offers. I asked him to specifically do that because I knew that he would do a great job with it, and field the questions tremendously. But like, I think everybody could. It's a skill that everyone should develop, and I don't care where you're at in your business. And like, that's what I'm trying to hit the guys over the head with a hammer, because so many of them just. Fortunately, our guys, we don't really have a culture where people are like, yeah, but that's not going to work for me, because I repeat myself so many fucking times that. But like, it, the skill of offer building and offer creation is it it's universal. It applies to your life in so many different ways. It's not just business related, to be honest. And so, like, how are you packaging what you have to offer? I mean, it goes from dating all the way to like actual product creation and sales and things like that. So I think we got some aha moments there from some guys that were like heavy owner operator guys that like don't like building an actual business, but it kind of woke them up to like what they could be doing that would allow them leverage in their business. And so on the journey that we're on, trying to produce more profits so that they can invest more and build a legacy, blah blah blah, I think that the ability to build offers and increase profits and kind of increase revenue overall is very important. And I want to focus on that internally within the group, through education and other things that, and obviously speakers and things like that we're bringing in.
Yeah, I think Riley's presentation, even for us at the Technical Empire, right, it shows us how we could, what we're already doing that falls within that framework, and then where we can actually probably put a little bit more emphasis. So I'm excited about that. Same thing with the AI. I wouldn't say that you and I are AI savants, and I purposely do not enjoy working with tech. And so it was real interesting to see Mike Fallett and see how he's structured his business to leverage AI, because AI took him out of business, right? AI very early on, he's in the copywriting business, or the ghostwriting business, sorry. And AI very quickly, it was probably the first industry to be negatively affected. And so he took it, harnessed it, rolled it into his new agency that he helps people with ghostwriting, and now does numerous other things with CRM systems. And then, for me, it's not like I don't want to become the AI savant and implement it in my business, but it's now, hey, who do we need that can come in and do that for our business, so we're not left behind from a tech side of things. So we'll never lose the human connection. I think that's why, like, we have, I'm still in the gym industry, but gym owners, they're worried about certain things with tech and AI. I'm like, you'll still have people that need the human connection. Like, that's not going to go out. You're not going to be replaced by a robot. And I would say that as more and more people implement tech, I think your service from a human to human standpoint probably becomes more valuable. And hopefully that's what the Technical Empire will look at. So will look like in the future. So coming out of Little Rock, what does heading to the next meetup in April, end of April, look like for us? What are you excited about? Where's your mind at in order to make the next meetup even better than the last, right? There's always things that we can look back and improve upon. So what were your general thoughts on, hey, we're gonna, repeat this part of the meetup as we've been doing, and then we'll try maybe going this path on something else? Or what type of speakers are you thinking about bringing in? What topics have been floating by your head as you decompress from the meetup?
Yeah, I picked Charlotte so for the location so that we had kind of the gamut of activities to do. I like the format that we've settled on. I mean, I think having that like lounge area that was private for us was awesome. I'd like to do that again. Just because it gives us like a rallying place. People can hang out and lounge around in there, and it doesn't have to be necessarily at the front desk. But the the only thing I may change next time, I mean, I think we're going to change is Friday afternoons activities is going to be different than we've done the last two times. Because so just so you know, if you're listening to this, you come in on Wednesday evening and people go like networking dinner. Thursday, we do like classroom, conference room stuff. It starts out with coffee and networking, but then it's like educational speakers teaching their skill set to our guys specifically in all the different areas. It's a long day. It's a brain buster of a day. It goes till about 5 o'clock. Then we all rally 6:30, whatever, go to dinner again, another networking type deal. And then what we've done is Friday is generally for connection and just digestion of the information from Thursday. And so the last two of the last three times we've went hiking at different places together as a group in the morning, and then in the afternoon, well, then we come together and we do a planning session. Ideally, that's what we do because I want everyone leaving with a plan of action. Like, what are you going to accomplish over the next 6 to 12 months? And then we're going to break it down into action items that are necessary for you. And then it's best to share it with the group so that we know where connections are, accountability is, and like potential doors that could be opened up by the people in the room. And then from there it's additional camaraderie event type thing. Like the last two times we've rented out bays at Top Golf and had appetizers brought in and stuff like that. And so it's unwinding until Friday evening when most people stay, go to dinner again, and fly out Saturday morning. So that's the cadence that we've been using. I think it works. um, I think that the only areas I'm looking to improve is the areas of impact on the people that we're bringing in, to speak, to present, to like drop knowledge on our group. And like we had a great group this time. I hope to do the same next time. And so, and then I've got bigger plans in the future for what we do on Fridays. And so that will evolve over time, right?
Awesome.
with with the size of the group and everything else. So, yeah.
Well, I think the guys are, if they're geographically savvy, they can assume that there's no big mountain peaks near Charlotte, North Carolina. So the climbing up boulders probably isn't going to happen this time around. But maybe one day I'll talk you into getting the guys out and doing paintball so we can blow each other up a little bit with some paint to the face.
Well, I wouldn't be so sure of that. Little Rock didn't have any terrain either, right?
Yeah, that's true. I don't even remember like where we drove to even get to. I mean, we drove 20 minutes, so we could get out there. I'm assuming there might be a trail somewhere near
Boone is only like
Charlotte.
an hour and 40 minutes.
Hey, we were at Metabolic Conference last week in Charlotte. There's Go Ruck ambassadors. So the second day of the conference, they had two Go Ruck ambassadors come and bring backpacks, and we had 30 people rucking through the city and going to the different football stadiums, baseball stadiums, NASCAR Hall of Fame, and walking around looking at the monuments in the city. So that could be a potential fairly flat walk. They did find the one hill in the city near the end. Long, slow walk up, trudge up. But no, I'm excited. I think we do a great job at getting speakers in there that are relevant to the guys and what they need in the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what lineup we put together for the next one. What is that? April 20. What is it? 23, 24, 24, 25.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, we always got
Whatever
to
that.
challenge their we always got to challenge their fitness so they know what they need to work on. You know what I'm saying? So
People get humbled.
yeah,
They
it's
get humbled.
important. It is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. All right, Jeff. So good breakdown of the meetup. If you guys have any questions about the meetup and how you can get to the next one, now's as good of a time as ever to get into the group, get to know the guys, get to know the foundational topics of what we create or what we teach in the 90-day accelerator. That'll take you 90 days. Then you get into the inner circle for 2 to 3 months. And then that'll take you up to our next meetup at the end of April in Charlotte, North Carolina. You guys can reach out to us on all of our channels. Jeff, why don't you send the people out?
Guys, thanks for listening. You can follow us on the Tactical Empire community, and we're the Tactical Empire on all the other channels. Obviously, give us a follow. Real Jeff Smith, Sean _Ryder_ is Sean's handle. Like he said, reach out to on Instagram's the easiest way to reach us. So we've got room for a few more accelerators at this point, and we're going to be strategically marketing to fill that up shortly. So if you have interest in getting into that, let us know, and we can discuss the logistics of that. So have a great day, have a great week, kick ass, and dominate Q4.